I am the chair of the Hildebrand Department of Petroleum and Geosystems Engineering at UT Austin. So the petroleum part is obviously oil and gas, something that we're all interested in here today. The geosystems part is what I describe as everything subsurface related to energy and water that's not oil and gas. And so that means all sorts of different things, right? Geothermal energy, CCUS, et cetera. And what I like to tell our students is that regardless of where the oil and gas industry go, the skills that we're teaching our students are going to be important for the future energy mix. Because whether we go to geothermal energy, whether we have to address emissions and CO2 with CCUS, if we're talking about hydrogen, then hydrogen storage is something that's going to be important. Batteries, when it comes to lithium and lithium production, that's a subsurface problem. Even nuclear energy, if we have to deal with the waste, then there's subsurface waste. So all the things that we do in the Hildebrand Department of Petroleum and Geosystems Engineering, I think are going to be important for the energy mix. And so we're trying to train our students for that future. I am somewhat bullish on oil and gas, though. This is one projection that I pulled several months ago from the IEA. And so what we're seeing there is that the oil and gas projections are largely unchanged through 2050. Coal is decreasing, of course, but oil and natural gas are relatively constant. Now, you could find 50 other projections that show something very different. I think that the point is that we aren't sure, and there's a lot of different speculation and unknowns with that, but we have to be prepared for that. And if we're going to continue to produce oil and gas, then we need to do something about the emissions, whether they be methane or CO2, and that's of course where MDEL comes in. A little bit more about my vision in the department is to be the preeminent academic program in the world for education, innovative research and leadership in sustainable subsurface energy production for the benefit of society. And in terms of our mission, it's to recruit, retain, and inspire an interdisciplinary, diverse, and collaborative faculty that will perform groundbreaking scientific research and educate the next generation of engineers and scientists. And that's with the goal of providing sustainable, affordable, and essential hydrocarbons while contributing to a smooth energy transition. And we're going to do that by actively recruiting a diverse team of innovative faculty, staff, and students, secure sustainable research funding, adapt our educational practices to our changing world, and engage with our industry, policy, and public stakeholders, which is really you all here today. Some of the research solutions that we're working on in our department are shown here. I've broken them up into subsurface applications, technical disciplines, and engineering tools. So in terms of subsurface applications, I would say we're about 50% oil and gas, and we're about 50% other things related to subsurface energy and environmental issues. In terms of MDEL, of course, they come into play, and we collaborate with them in dealing with both conventional and unconventional oil and gas, but also methane hydrates and CCUS. I also like to think of what we do in the department, and this was all kind of shared by our faculty where their research interests are. These are technical disciplines. A lot of what we do is traditional petroleum engineering, but a lot of other things again, because we are a very diverse department working on different things. We're going to collaborate with MDEL in terms of things like production engineering, obviously, data analytics and machine learning, and sustainability issues. And then finally, in terms of the engineering tools we use to solve those problems, again, very diverse. We've already heard about FEAST, right? So that's large-scale simulation, large-scale experiments, like the drones and the other things that they're doing there, but also software development. So the final thing, I'd like to point out about our department and my vision, so I've just been department chair for a few months, certainly want to focus on adapting our educational practices to a changing world. The energy mix is changing. So one of my focuses is on creating electives and course contents related to tight and shale reservoirs, because especially in the United States, that's where the shift is. That comes along with emissions, methane emissions, and so we'll be collaborating with MDEL on that. We want to prepare our students for the digital transformation. So we have many new classes, both electives and course content in our existing classes on machine learning and AI. We have a subsurface machine learning class, for example. We do want to facilitate the energy transition by engaging with you all, the industry partners, regulatory agencies, and the government to develop curricula, job market opportunities, and research. Working with Arvind and Dave and MDEL is going to be very important when we focus on this energy transition. And then the final thing is, and this is, something important to me and my vision is emphasizing soft skills, including oral and written communication. I suppose at the end of this meeting, you could tell us how we're doing. But as a final point, we are the #1 graduate program in the United States, and actually we're recently named the #1 graduate program in the world for petroleum engineering. But our department and the industry, the oil and gas industry, are changing, and my vision, my goal is to adapt as the world changes, and to make sure that if we're going to continue to produce oil and gas, which I think we will, then we need to be addressing these greenhouse gas emissions, and we have to be collaborating with MDEL. So with that, thank you so much for your time.